Welcome. Thank you for joining us. My name is Steve Entrican. I'm the MaxLight Outdoor Product Manager, and today we're going to talk about the M-Series Outdoor product family. This is a singular design. It covers 3 different applications. It can be an area fixture, a wall fixture, or a flood fixture. And today we're going to dig a lot deeper into all the different optics and photometric choices that you have with this exciting new family. So there are 7 different lenses that you can choose from. All of these are factory installed, so you would order it the way you want it, and that's how we're going to build and ship it to you. I want to point out one important quality feature that we built into this. Here's an example of one of our lenses. You'll see that everything, all the gaskets are molded into the lens. So this ensures that when we're swapping out and changing lenses, it maintains the integrity of the seal on the product, a very important quality feature that we built into the design. So let's get to the good stuff. Let's talk about what these lenses do for you and why we have them. So first up is area applications. And you'll see over here that we have 6 different lenses. We have 2 Type 3s, we have 2 Type 4s, and we have 2 Type 5s. So first up is the 3M. This is your Type 3 medium. This is by far the most popular and the most common lens that you're going to see out there. It's a nicer design than you've seen traditionally from us on a Type 3, so it's going to do a little bit better job in those applications. The other Type 3 that we have is what we call a 3G. This is a low glare Type 3 lens. We're seeing some parts of the country where glare ratings and high angle light are becoming more and more important issues of concern. So this particular Type 3 is going to cut down on those high angles and give you a little bit of a lower glare rating. Next up is going to be the Type 4 lenses. So we have 2 different ones. You see a 4N and a 4W. So Type 4 is also known as a forward throw lens. This is typically when you're around the perimeter of a property or an area and you want the light to shoot out in front of the fixture. That's what you use your Type 4s for. The 4N is a narrow. What that means is the sides are narrower, and the reason for that is typically if you're coming close to the perimeter on the sides of your property and you want to minimize your spill light, that's when you typically consider a Type 4N. The Type 4W is probably a little more popular in terms of the Type 4s. It's a wider pattern as the name indicates, and also what happens here is typically on a pole you'll see these back to back. And so when they're working together in that kind of an application, they create a very large and nice uniform Type 5 pattern. So that's your Type 4s. Your Type 3s and your Type 4s, an important aspect of those is what's your backlight. So traditionally we have 32 to 35% backlight. We put a lot of effort into our Type 3s and Type 4s, and we reduced that down to 19%. So we really cut on the naked lens how much backlight they are producing. If you go to our website and our literature, you'll see that we have accessories that are backlight shields. That's going to cut that backlight even further down if you need to, and we can get down to a 3 or a 4% type range. So we put a lot of effort into really addressing the backlight concerns. The next up is the Type 5 lenses. So what you're going to see here is the 5S, that's our Type 5 square. And what we're doing here is this is in the middle part of the property. We're creating a square type pattern that's nice and uniform. This is because a square will lend itself better to painting and piecing together how you're doing your lighting in a nice uniform pattern on the interior. This is much easier than if you're trying to do it with concentric circles, which is the traditional pattern coming out on a Type 5. The last Type 5 we actually call a W, but it is a Type 5. It's a more concentrated Type 5, and what's going on there, what I mentioned earlier, those markets that need low glare, this is going to be a low glare type 5. So for all those markets where glare ratings are important, we actually have 2 lenses to address that. We have a type 3 low glare and a type 5 low glare. So that's what we're doing on the area lenses. Next up are going to be your wall lenses. This is really a repeat of what you just heard on the type. It's type 3s and it's type 4s. So when you're in a wall application, the type 3s are typically used when you want to minimize the number of light fixtures on your wall, and you want to maximize the distance between them. So this lens is going to throw the light out to the side a little bit at the expense of what's going away from the wall, but again, you're trying to space your fixtures as far apart. The type 4, as mentioned, is a forward throw lens, so you're trying to throw the light away from the building. That comes at a little bit of an expense on the sides, so they're not throwing it as far on the sides, but they're throwing it more forward. You typically see these on entrances and exits and places like that, where you're trying to light the path leaving or coming to the building. So 4 different choices on your wall applications. The final one we're going to talk about are flood lenses and flood applications. So for this one, you have 3 different choices. You have 2 different wide lenses and you have 1 narrow lens. So first up, we're going to talk about the 5S, which we talked about earlier. In this case, it's actually a wide lens in the flood application. It's a 6x7, so it's a softer, doesn't have as much punch, but it's very uniform, and it's great for applications where your light fixture is close to target. If you're very close to target and you want a soft but wide and uniform pattern, that would be the lens of choice there. In terms of the most common lens for a flood by far is going to be your W. This is a wide lens, and this is your typical 6x6 type application. It's going to have a little more punch, but yet still be wide. The final lens we're going to talk about is the narrow lens. So this is a nice 4x4 NEMA tight narrow lens. Some of the magic going on here is most of the narrow lenses that you see will have what they call the halo effect. It's a beam angle and a field angle. So you see the main part of it, and then you see an outer ring. We've done a little bit of magic where we've washed that away, and it's a nice uniform tight 4x4 pattern. So that's what you get when you use our narrow lens in this family. So in summary, you can see there's a lot of different optic choices. I appreciate your time, and I would encourage you to go to our website where you can learn more information about it as well as some demonstrations. Thank you.